Hello, welcome to reading. I am so excited and it's almost the weekend. Alrighty, so for this lesson, we're still focusing on this story that is teaching us about characters and settings and also become great authors and teaching us that every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and how to get to that process. So for that, we're going to practice today. You're going to need this paper with 3 rectangles. And on the first rectangle says beginning, middle, and end. So go get this from your packet. Again, if you don't have this anymore in your pocket, then use just a blank piece of paper. Okay, so I'm going to start by sharing my screen to read one more time what's the objective for this week. And let me bring it all the way to the top and make it bigger. Hope everybody's doing okay. Alrighty, so the essential question is still the same for this module. What will I discover in kindergarten? So we are learning about characters and settings and how to become great authors by finding the plot of the story, beginning, middle, and end. And we're doing this together. And it is fun to do activities together with Ms. Cervantes. I hope so. All right, so for this week, we're doing lesson number 8. And for lesson number 8, I have 2 objectives. So I should have put objectives on the top. I can identify, find the beginning, middle, and end of the story, which we did that with Squiggly story. And also, we can write it, but I would love for you to, once we finish this activity, for you to share and use your words to retell the plot, which is the beginning, middle, and end of your story, using complete sentences. Just like the boy in the story. The boy didn't write all those words in the paper, did he? No. He actually used his words, complete sentences, to express his story from the beginning to the end. So our goal is to do that today. All right, so let's back off a little bit and just describe what does it mean when Ms. Cervantes says plot. So plot is what happens in the story. Can you say plot? Good job. So plot is what happens in the story with 3 steps. So it's kind of like a roller coaster. So in the roller coaster, you start at the bottom of the roller coaster, which is the beginning, the first thing. So the boy at the beginning started with the letter I, just describing himself in there. And then he kept thinking and thinking and thinking what happened. Then he got stuck a little bit right here. He's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know words. But then with the sister's help, he went to the next right here, which is the middle of the story. He wrote the middle of the story about a shark. Right after that, he was stuck on the top again. So he went to school just with the beginning and the middle of the story. He told the story, and his classmates, his class friends, try to help him with the end. So he went home and talked to the sister. I'm stuck. I can't move on. I can't think. So the sister encouraged him by saying, you are the boss. You can pick. You can finish your own story however you want it. So at the end, he came out with another idea. Nothing related with the Leah said vampires or the other boy said about the shark taking a bite of the ball. He thought about it because remember, you are your own boss when you are writing stories. Okay, so that is the plot. That's what Ms. Cervantes refers when is talking about the plot of the story. All right, so speaking of the plot always begins with what happens first in the story. So at the beginning of the story, the sister tells that he can write a story and she helps him get started. Now the boy is starting to write the story. And this is what the beginning plot looks like in the story, on the Squiggly story. He started with what word? I. And he said, that's me. When I use the word I as a word, it refers to me. And in the middle of the story, this is what happens in the middle of the story. In the middle of the story, the boy thought about where is the story happening? Okay, who are the characters in the story? So the sister kind of helps them to decide where, which was at the beach, right? So now we have two characters in the story. It's the boy and the sister. Remember, he used the I for him. He used the circle for the soccer ball, and he used the letter U for what other character? The sister. See, that's how he became an author. And then at the end, he went through all the trouble, but he remembered that he was the boss of the story. So the boy read his story to the class, and in the class, the classmates tried to help him finish the story. But now the boy is back at home with the sister. And what is the boy doing now? He's trying to write the ending of the story. So that is the plot of the story. He finished the story with a rocket ship. Now, that was another character at the end of the story. It was an alien, a Martian, un marciano. There we go. All right. So, whoopsies. That's for next week. All right. So I'm going to switch my camera, and then we are going to just pretend that we're going to be authors. And here we go. All right. As always, try to use pencil. I'm going to use a marker so you guys can see better on the screen. So it says that our objective is draw what happens at the beginning, middle, and end of the Squiggly story. Okay? What happens at the beginning of the story? The boy wanted to start writing a story, but he didn't know how. So the sister said the words are made of letters. What was the letter that he used to describe himself? He said the easiest letter of the alphabet, because it's a line going down, a line going across, and a line across at the bottom. I. And in this case, the boy is using as a word to refer for him. I. So that was at the beginning of the story, right? And then in the middle of the story, he already had I, and then he's like, I'm gonna write a circle. And that circle was for what? For the soccer ball. And then he wrote another letter. What was the letter? U. He wrote the letter U to refer to the sister in the middle of the story. Alrighty. And then he did a bunch of other letters to build the waves at the ocean. Oh, but before that, he did dots for the sand, right? And then he did another letter, the one before W. V's, little V's, big B's, little B's, big B's. And then what happened at the end of the story? Because he wrote a big upside down V like this. It was in the middle of the story. The sister, it's a shark, it's a shark. Then he went to school, he told the story. And at the end of the story, he did other symbols to finish his story, because he's like, I don't like the endings they are telling me to do. So he decided to do some other stuff. What was it? What are these? Stars. So at the end of the story, he did a bunch of stars. I'm gonna make an X, and then a line in the middle, X, a line in the middle, X, line in the middle. And that's how the boy started his stars. And then he wrote exclamation points because he wanted his story to be exciting, right? So he did exclamation points. There we go. And then he did some slidey lines like this. Perfect. And that was the end. So this is how we become writers and readers and authors of stories. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it wasn't that hard. And I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys back on Monday. Bye-bye.